All right, 52 weeks of gaming, halfway through the year, week 26. Nick is going to go and talk about a game. I'm going to kind of give some backstory, and it's just going to be the normal follow-up. So let's just take it away. Halfway through the year. Woot! So this week is Batman Arkham Knight. Now, I'm hoping, having played both Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, that Arkham Knight kind of continues this fantastic superhero world that Rocksteady has made, and I think they were really the first ones to go and do this sort of thing, so I'm hoping that it's great. I do have a bit of an expectation for it, so let's just see how that goes. So Batman Arkham Knight is the fourth game in the Arkham series. You have Asylum, you have City, you have Origins, and then you have Knight. Asylum is the first one that came out in 2009, takes place in the Arkham Asylum as it sounds. Second one is City, takes place basically like Arkham kind of exploded. Then you have Origins, which takes place years before on Christmas Eve, and then you have Knight, which takes place a year after Arkham City and came out in 2015 and is really the last main game in the Arkham franchise, and it was a big hit for people. It was something that was highly anticipated because of how well Rocksteady had done the game series so far, and it was an epic conclusion for the games. It got fantastic reviews. Now, there were some complaints about it because of the overuse of the Batmobile and kind of how they built up the villain of the Arkham Knight and who it actually is. Not going to spoil that, but it's something that a lot of people liked, but obviously you're going to have a lot of people not liking it, and I'm going to leave it up to Nick because I know he's a bit of a Batman fan, so I'm going to send it over to him to give us a review of the game. So Batman Arkham Knight is the culmination of the Arkham series. You have Arkham Asylum is where it begins and kind of ends on this really interesting note, which I guess is not going to be a spoiler now, but it kind of involves defeating Joker, and he's using this serum because he's sick. And then Arkham City, which kind of has the ramifications of that, and Joker being sick, and so still fighting him and ending, honestly, again, spoiler alert, with his death. And so Arkham Knight kind of deals with the aftermath of all of that and wraps up the trilogy of the Arkham series. And it does a fantastic job of it. Rocksteady was really good at the combat for the first one with the Asylum, and they did a kind of a revolutionary fighting system, and the game was praised, and they had an Easter egg in it for City, then they had an Easter egg in City for Knight, and they just continued doing the same things that made the game great, and kind of building over this story that really felt like it came to a good completion and a logical completion at the end of it. I mean, you had your main storyline where you go and fight against the Arkham Knight and Scarecrow in this one, and you do have what they call your most wanted missions. So you're going against like Penguin, Two-Face. You have to train Azazel, you have to fight against Riddler to save Catwoman, you have Deacon Blackfire, you have Hush, you have all of these different Batman villains that you're going against in different ways, and so it's kind of like those side quests sort of thing, so you have plenty of things to go and do in it. Obviously, with Riddler means that there's Riddler trophies again, and those were a big thing in Arkham City, and obviously that's the big collectible, as well as Gotham being kind of on this lockdown. So you have these watchtowers and checkpoints and these bombs that you have to go and disarm, and there's just a lot to do in the game, and it's something that I know that I'm never going to go and complete because of all the Riddler stuff. As much as I want to go back and finish that and complete it, and I probably will do something with it, it's just a lot, and that's not to say that's a bad thing at all. It's more credit to Rocksteady for building this franchise and giving it this ending that really fits and makes sense in the universe, and they don't have to go and make anything for the Batman games after this because this ends on a very specific note. And so I think they did a fantastic job. I absolutely loved it. I loved all of the Arkham games, and so it was something that, like, I'm not disappointed in at all. You had the same kind of combat, they had the different gadgets, and obviously there was things to go and upgrade and customize, and you can go and download different skin packs and kind of these different what they call AR missions, because that's another thing you can go and do and kind of train and get these points and rewards, and there's just so much in these games that it's kind of mind-boggling to me, because you go and look at games and you're just kind of like thrown off by how little some games go and put in their main thing. But this is something that I played all week, and sure, the story is going to go and say, like, overall I'm majority of the way done, beat the story, beat most of the missions, but because of the Riddler stuff, because of if I go and do the DLC, there's so much more to it that it's probably going to be another 10 to 15 hours of gameplay, which is what you want in a game. You want to be able to have a super long lifespan out of it, and something you could really go and enjoy and play. And I think that's something that Rocksteady doesn't get enough credit for. I mean, everyone talks about how the new Spider-Man game is fantastic. It's one of the greatest superhero video games outside of, like Superman 64. But I feel like the Arkham series doesn't get enough credit, because to me it was really the first good superhero franchise. Sure, you had the Lego games and they were doing things, but this was something that when they did Arkham Asylum, that it was kind of odd to people that they're like, man, there's this really good Batman game out there. And then they kind of followed up with it with Arkham City, and Arkham City was more of the same, but it's the whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it was just fantastic. And then it continues with Arkham Knight, and sure, people are going to be like, okay, they didn't go and change anything, things are repetitive, but the combat's always so fluid and nice and really fun and enjoyable. And yeah, there were moments that I was kind of beating my head into my desk because it just felt ridiculous that I couldn't go and move Batman the way I wanted to. But you gotta have some sort of limitation somewhere, and it's not any fault of the game, more of my own for not being smart enough in how I would go and play it. But they did a fantastic job. Voice actors, you go and have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill back as Batman and Joker respectively, and basically it's like the animated series just in a video game form and better graphics. And that's what it's nostalgia, it's things that I love, and there's just so many good things about it that is just great. And that's what I think about it. It's just great. Okay, so you forgot about Arkham Origins, but hey, everyone does. That's okay. So who would want to go and play all of these games in the series? I think anyone who's a superhero fan should go and play this. Definitely Batman fans, but it's something that if you are a Batman fan and you haven't played the first two, you definitely need to go and play the first two before this one, because I know I gave a bit of spoilers in the beginning, but there's so much more to it with the characters and how they develop, and kind of this growth from the beginning of Asylum to the end of Night that is very important. And it does feel like this culmination and this completion, and it feels good completing it. And I mean, yeah, sure, you can know the spoilers of the game, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and play. The games themselves are all fantastic. So it's something that, yeah, I think everyone should go and play it. I think it's something that people would love. Now, do you think you're going to go in back and complete or play more of Arkham Knight? You did mention earlier that you might go and do it, so is it something that you are considering? As I said, I might go back and complete it and do the Riddler trophies and get the season pass and try to go for the DLC and really go and try to hammer down some of the extra stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I've never done that stuff before. Collectibles are always something that I find tedious and time consuming, and that's what they are. And it's just something that I don't really ever have the energy for. So I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Might finish the other stuff outside of it, but it's definitely something I'm considering going back to. Bunny 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 bunny